Okay. Dudes, we're finally doing it. You know, it's slow and steady. I'm not saying I'm the quickest learner in the world. I'm not saying the most consistent podcast in the world. But we're getting it, folks. Lost my phone or left my phone in someone's car. I thought I finally had my podcast set up, figured out with the mic and my phone last week, but just had to refigure it out with just the laptop quick time. Maybe I'm like half retarded, but I'm not like, it takes a while to figure out some of this shit. But it's the consistency of the production that matters, the effort, the consistent effort that matters. See if we get a camera angle here. Y'all. Also, I'm trying to improve the audio from last week. The audio was kind of a little bit lower. Bros, ladies, brothers, sisters. It's finally happened. I'm alone in Los Angeles. My family has left. No more Jojo, no more Emmy, no more nada in this casita. Beanbag on the floor. No fridge, no furniture, no couch, nothing. The house is also empty, the big house. My casita is empty. There's no people here. I'll be here for 3 weeks by myself. My LA family has arrived in Portland. Didn't I just grab a joint? This is the problem with smoking weed, folks. I just had a joint in my hand. What happened to it? What happened to the fucking joint? LA family has left. They're in Portland. Our LA dream is coming to an end. This is the longest I've lived anywhere ever, aside from the town I grew up in. I was thinking this week as the movers were coming and moving everything out and moving stuff, clearing out this casita. I'm going to be perplexed and distracted for the rest of this podcast about where the joint I had in my hand when I first turned everything on went. I'm trying to pretend like my mind isn't focused on that, but it is. Yeah. And so it's sad, man. It's sad. I don't love LA. I love the weather. I love the fact that in Los Angeles, there's everything you'd ever want from a city. It's super liberal, and like the vapidity or like shallowness is a real thing. That kind of vapid LA culture. Let me turn on the lights real quick. That little bit of kind of vapid LA culture is a real thing. It's not a place I want to raise kids, but it's my favorite place I've ever lived. And I've lived for 5 years, and I've become very happy here over the last couple. And extremely happy this year in 2025. Um, the weather, first and foremost, the sun. Then my relationship with the girls. JoJo is just graduated kindergarten, so she's like a buddy now. She's not just like a cute love machine. She's like an actual person I can have conversations with. So I have like two daughters and a cool routine and enough money to pay my bills and save a little bit. And I feel I get great purpose from doing martial arts on a near daily basis. There it is. Found it. Um, so I'm sad to go. I don't want to move to the Pacific Northwest where it's going to be cold and rainy in the winter. I don't want to have my own. I won't have my own space to live. And I just met this new girl who I really like. And things are going really well. But staying present, I am going to Portland in mid-July. Today is June 29th. I'm leaving for Maine with my family on July 14th. Going to spend a week with them in Maine, come back to LA, grab the car, and drive up to Portland. Sorry for the breaks if you're just listening to audio. I'm smoking weed as I'm doing this. I'm inhaling marijuana smoke. Drive to Portland in. I really want to be present, take each day there. Just kind of replicate my same routine and lifestyle that I have in LA there in Portland. and just be present with the girls. I have major doubts, so I'm being just totally candid and honest that I'm going to stay up there. I'm not entering the situation with the same like vigor, excitement as I did when I moved to LA in at the end of 2019, 2020, because I was excited to move to LA. I was excited for this new opportunity. I'm I'm moving to Portland because of my loyalty to JoJo and Emmy, and nothing else. And it's cool. I've never lived in the Pacific Northwest, so it's kind of cool. I grew up in the Southeast. I've lived in the Southwest a long time. I lived in D.C. and I've spent time in New York, so I kind of know that kind of New England East Coast vibe. My sister lives in the Midwest. My uncle used to live in Seattle, and of course, my best friend and Lord and Savior Mike McDonald is the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. So I certainly have connection there, but I've never lived in the Pacific Northwest, so it's cool to like have this full American experience and live there. So if I end up, I want to be open to the possibility of living there for 5 years or whatever. But if I'm being honest, I've never felt particularly called to live there and never really envisioned myself being there. And the fact that this all is just happening, I feel like I'm kind of being dragged there. But I'm entering with positivity, and I'm certainly going to enter my martial arts training with a lot of vigor and positivity. I've had to cancel the last couple of jiu-jitsu, or I guess just one jiu-jitsu tournament I had to cancel the weekend of Memorial Day when I had to go home to celebrate my grandma's ashes. I was really excited to do that tournament. So I haven't done one since March. I'm going to do one September 20th in Portland, and I'm aiming to win both gi and no gi again, double gold. So as soon as I get to Portland, I need to get settled and just start grinding with the training and stay focused on that and spending time with the girls. I'm going to turn off the AC real quick. Sorry, cold as fuck. I am still here. But like in total candor, man, this girl and I have already talked about moving in together. She has a 2-bedroom apartment with a roommate, but that roommate's going to be potentially moving out by the end of the year. Her lease on the place is way too much detail. But it'll be the first time ever I live with a girl if this all works out and I move back to LA. So it's a little nerve-wracking, but exciting because very much is up in flux. But I've met someone who I really love, I really care about, and feel like I'm developing deep love for from a romantic perspective. And I also have JoJo and Emmy, who's like this deep personal relationships. And so it's all love, man. Like my heart is kind of being torn in two different directions. I love these little girls so deeply, and I feel like I'm raising them. I feel like my daughters, my children, and they're going in one direction. So I obviously want to go with them and continue their development, but they're really not my daughters. So it's like this, from day one, there's been this kind of impending sense that like at some point I have to like go and say goodbye to an extent, but I want them to know I'm not going anywhere. I want them to know that our relationship is different than their friends. I'm family. I'm their family. I'm their uncle. They're leaving LA, and there's many of these people they're never going to see again, and especially JoJo's going to have memories of these people, but I want her to know that like I'm different. I will always come to you. I will always be here for you. You always have me. We may live in different places, but we are still connected, and we still love each other like family does. Especially in this country, United States, family can oftentimes live far apart, but we still come together and love each other. And that's different than just friends. I don't know. I want them to learn that. And that's also why it's very important to me that I go to Oregon and Portland, show them, hey, you guys left. You left your old home. This is your new home with your new school and your new friends, but I am here too with you because I love you and I care about you and I want to know that you're all right. And I may only be able to be here in Portland for a short while, in which case I will leave. But then I will also come back. I'll always be here for you. This is not a job to me. This is family. And so I want them to know that. Yeah. So I'm trying to stay focused and present on all of this. This is not just like the completion of a professional pursuit and the completion of my development as a father or my training as a father. It's also my relationship with these little girls for the rest of our lives. I want them to know that they can count on me and I will be there for them. So I need to focus on almost wrapping up my time with JoJo and Emmy as my number one priority. Then, but stay fully present on that. I don't want to be like looking for jobs or looking for apartments. If I'm only going to be in Oregon for a few months, I don't want to spend my time distracted looking and planning the future of my life. I want to be fully present with them, wrap things up, move, let's say hypothetically back to LA, get an apartment or move in with my girl, then take a month, then I'm looking at jobs. Now I'm present looking at jobs, not just like scrambling, anxiety, take the first job, first money. I have money in the bank. I want to be calm, present, intentional, conscious, step by step with each of this, being present with each step. Even potentially handling my relationship with this girl, it's like one step at a time. In Maine, we go see my family in July. We come back, I get the car, I drive to Portland. Then we plan our first long distance visit. I come back to LA in August. In August, we plan your visit in September. Step by step. We don't need to think about the future. That's anxiety, man. Thinking about the past is depression. Thinking about the future is anxiety. Staying present in the moment, that's peace, calm, happiness. So step by step, being present with each step along the way. That's where we are. So today, Sunday, actually June 29th. What? 2 more weeks in LA? Fuck, man. I'm just going to train as hard as I can every fucking day at jiu-jitsu. I've got a lot to say about jiu-jitsu. I'm not going to talk shit about anybody or anything other than to say I am confident in my effort. I'm giving a martial arts training every day I go in there. And I hope everyone can say, anyway, I'm confident that I'm giving my best effort every day when I go in there. And it's cool to see that effort producing results. And I'll continue to do that. And I'll basically never stop, I guess. Yeah. So martial arts training continues. It's cool. It's great. I'm catching up on my watching of the UFC. Okay, I just watched UFC 315, Bilal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena in Montreal for the welterweight championship. Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot in the co-main event for the women's flyweight championship. Flyweight or strawweight? Flyweight. Right. Zhang Wei Li is strawweight. So that's cool. International Fight Week was last night. Ilya Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. I don't know what happened. But continue. Yeah, man. It's increasingly, I think I talked about this last week, increasingly my viewership of mixed martial arts, UFC, is like academic learning rather than entertainment. So I don't know. We'll see how my passion for that continues to develop, but I'm definitely going to catch up. UFC 318, me and the lady are going to be in Maine. She's a UFC fan. That is Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway in New Orleans. Dustin Poirier's retirement fight. She doesn't watch all the fights. She's like pretty casual fan, but she has certain fighters that she loves, so we're going to watch that one in Maine. So I want to be all caught up by July 20th, I think it is, that UFC 318. I want to be all caught up and then perhaps start tracking more closely there, the MMA. I never talked about the Seattle Seahawks draft. Our beloved Seattle Seahawks. They had what seems to be, like, by all consensus, is a pretty solid draft. They needed offensive line help. They got the guard help in the first round with guard Gray Zabel. Then they went with Mike McDonald pick out of safety Nick Eamon-Warrior out of South Carolina. Third round, they went tight end Elijah Arroyo out of Miami. Who they go for? Around the same time, they got Jalen Milroe, quarterback of Alabama. They ended up having, I think, 7 overall picks. They got this dude, Troy Holton, I think his name, wide receiver, Colorado State. They got another wide receiver out of UNLV in the 7th, Ricky White or something like that. I remember everyone's name. They got a big time Riley Moss or something. Is it Riley Leonard? D lineman out of Notre Dame, who's a stud. So it was a cool draft, man. It's so cool to see. I love the NFL draft. I love the NFL draft growing up. I'm obviously not nearly as obsessed about it now as I was, but it's so cool to see Mike making the picks, man. It's like we used to be in fantasy draft together, and that shit was cool. Now this guy's doing it in real life. It's the coolest shit, man. I'm excited for football season. Excited to see. Dude, he's gonna build a winning program. I'm telling y'all motherfuckers this from day one. The dude is the goddamn truth. Listen to me now if you haven't listened to me before. Mike McDonald's the goddamn truth. This team is going to the Super Bowl. This guy's gonna be the greatest NFL coach of all time. I'm telling you. I've been telling people since we graduated college. This guy who's a graduate assistant at UGA, some just little fucking intern essentially at UGA, is going to be an NFL head coach. And I'm telling y'all now, Bill Belichick, watch out. This guy is the truth. He's coming for your ass. The whole NFL, for reals. So that's cool. Seahawks. Going to Portland. So I think I'm going to try to go, say I make it up there by August 1st. I'm going to try to go up there before the season starts. I want to go to training camp, but training camp might be over by the time I get up there. But definitely go to the home opener. I want to go to the home opener and then the last game of the season. Happy birthday to our head coach, Mike McDonald, whose birthday June 26th this past week. What else is cracking? Saudi Arabia continues to take over boxing, as I've said. But I'm not that I broke that story or anything, but I'm just telling you, these institutions are falling down, man. Money speaks over government. Money owns government. So the whole reason boxing has sucked for a long time is because it's been regulated by government. But just like our federal government has been taken over by corporate interests, and so who really runs the government is big money. It's the same now in boxing. Boxing, big Saudi oil money came in and told the federal government, suck our dicks, we're going to do what we want and create our own boxing organization beyond the regulations of government. And they're basically just like, try and stop us. And they're going to do it. And the same could be done with every area of government. If we just collectively, or if a moneyed interest basically just stares government eye to eye and says, go fuck yourself or try and stop me, they're probably not going to call your bluff in a lot of ways. If we could act collectively in a peaceful manner, we could essentially let the government slowly dissolve over time. I don't want to get too specific about that, but like, stop paying your taxes. If you stop paying income tax, if everyone collectively stops paying income tax, the government will dissolve over time, and naturally the market will fill in the voids of whatever actual like holes in society are revealed by the absence of federal government, which I don't think there really will be any. I actually think society will start to flourish more, but the private market will start to fill out any voids left by the federal government as the federal government just kind of slowly dissolves. I think it's just like this big kind of like mom and dad that's like telling us what to do, but we're like all like 25. And so if we just kind of start ignoring mom and dad and like stop letting them steal our money and treating us like children, eventually like we'll all just live our lives and they will grow old and die. That's kind of how I see it. I think government's obsolete. And big centralized government, federal government, like a central authority managing millions of people at a time, that shit is obsolete, man. You can't, that's 2025. We got to get rid of that shit. Manage at a local level, individuals. Decentralized. None of the central bank shit, mega Department of Defenses, multi-billion-dollar, trillion-dollar budgets. Fuck all that. Fuck all that. That's Israel and Iran and all that shit. That is deeply centralized federal authorities. That's where fucking war comes from. Get rid of that shit. No more war. Anyway. What else is cracking? Rogan. I'm on Rogan 2020. I think I haven't really made much progress on Rogan last week. But I'm Rogan July 2024. Tomorrow, perhaps even today, I'll start listening to fucking Terrence Howard, the actor, who essentially, if he's right, is like the world's most intelligent human being and has completely revolutionized like all areas of science as we know it. Or is a crazy person who's just really smart. But I listened to a solo episode with Rogan and it kind of blew my mind. Actually, one of the few Rogan episodes I will actually go back and listen to again at a later date. But the next one I listened to is Terrence Howard debating, I think it's either Brett or Eric Weinstein. So a super established traditional academic mega genius. So it'll be very interesting. It's going to break my brain listening to that episode. But super fascinating because, dude, there's like, we don't know, like all of the science, academic, intellectual pursuit of any kind in any area of life is all in a constant state of growth and evolution. So it's physics, chemistry, history, biology, psychology, every area of study, every major that you can choose in college is in a process of development, right? It's not like there's just static knowledge base that's written in stone and doesn't change. And so if you got a PhD in physics 20 years ago, physics is evolving and changing. Our knowledge is evolving and changing. And we definitely know, just based on the fact that we evolved from single-celled organisms up until who we are today, or like 100 years ago, we can look back at what they didn't know about science. But then we also know that in the future, we will know more. So like right now, we should accept that we're deeply ignorant about what we know about science. And so no one is truly an expert. All of this shit is evolving and changing. Like we don't even have the sense, there's more dimensions out there. Like we are not perceiving all there is to reality. In fact, I think we're probably perceiving a very small amount of what there actually is to reality. As in like we have the senses of sight, sound, taste, smell, hearing, touch, but there's other senses that we are not aware of, that we as human beings with the current biology or whatever, we don't have access to. There's so much else going on. And the one I only know about that like I know about from like an intrinsic perspective is that we're all interconnected. That like we're all basically one being, interconnected being, like branches of a tree. And I don't know exactly how to describe this or delineate this, but like our actions affect one another. Our energies like we are affecting one another even though we think we're separate. So that's like a separate sense, just to like very rudimentarily describe something that we don't understand. You know, we don't understand it, so I can't describe it. But there's way more going on out there than we know. And like, just because someone is a doctor or a PhD or has been X number of years studying something or purports to be an expert doesn't mean, certainly they are an expert of what we know of current reality, maybe. And even then they might be wrong. But no one knows what they don't know. And the only thing that is certain is that there's plenty that we don't know. So it's like this humbleness and this understanding that like everything is fluid and evolving, and like you just kind of have to accept like you'll never know everything. You'll never truly be an expert. And everyone's kind of a child growing. Every adult is both a child and an adult at the same time. We're all still children growing always. So yeah, it'd be interesting. I'll explain. Like I'm excited to continue to learn and grow about all areas of life and discuss them on this podcast. What else be cracking? I think that's it. 2 more weeks in LA, chilling, cleaning up the house, packing shit up, and then just grinding hard martial arts and doing this pod. And I guess the other thing is maybe I'll start. The only like little project I want to get done is like I have all these pictures. I'm really trying hard to stay off social media, but I do want to post like I was for a while posting like a photo drop from every month of the girls' lives, starting when I moved here, like January 2020 through now. Like every month posting 10 pictures on Instagram of the girls that month and like what we did that month and what I did that month. So I'll start going back to those pictures and posting those and just kind of building up a little bit of an online presence to match this podcast and it would be super cool long run if I could just go on this podcast, record fucking nonsense, interview guests and whatever. It'd be cool if I generate revenue off this podcast long term, like an online media presence where I could just basically just live my life and express my viewpoints and like generate revenue from that. Just perspective or something is worth value. But I think I need actual experts on here to provide value. But we'll see. We'll see how much actual effort and research and shit I can put into that. So maybe that's what I think I'll be working on for the next couple of weeks, is getting that little social media online presence up and going. And then I think the next step of that is putting up some yoga videos or shit like that. Just a side project. But also, in the next few months, I could, be hard at work. And so hopefully I can find a way to incorporate these side media content creation projects into whatever my new professional pursuit is as well. I'm not looking to be working. I'm not working fucking 12-hour days. I'm not doing it. Just not doing it. If I were to start my own business, perhaps. But even then, I'm not looking to do that. 6. I'm more of like a 6-hour max workday guy. I got to train, dog. I'm at the gym 4 hours a day sometimes. All right, homies. I love you all. Dude, Trump be out here deporting motherfuckers. Let me make one real comment real quick on all this Trump shit going on. The ICE deportations. Let me hit this joint real quick before I get into this. I'm trying not to follow in the news, so I don't know anything other than what I hear in conversation with people. But I know Trump's supporting a lot of motherfuckers. I know ICE is going hard right now. First, at least the president is like standing by their word, saying they're going to do something and doing it. I'm not an anti-Trump guy. I'm definitely not a pro-Trump guy. I'm definitely not a pro-Biden or Kamala guy either. If anything, I'm a libertarian. I think this whole electing a king for the country is bullshit. However, I think about all this stuff now in like two heads. There's like my utopian libertarian head where I think the federal government is bullshit. These elections are bullshit. The income tax is bullshit. The existence of borders themselves is bullshit. The fact that you're born in a fucking patch of dirt with arbitrary lines drawn in it, and then like that's where you're from, fucking El Salvador, and you're stuck in El Salvador for your whole life because you just happen to come out of a vagina in El Salvador and you can't go anywhere else. That's bullshit. That's fucking crazy. And that us here in America, we came out of a vagina here in America in this patch of dirt, and so we are just have the right to all of the luxuries and beauties of the first world and the most powerful country on earth, but other people do not, just because we happen to come out of a vagina on this patch of dirt. It's crazy. In my utopian, personal, libertarian view of reality, I think all people, all earthlings should be able to live anywhere on earth. There shouldn't be lines and borders saying that, like, this is Korea, this is the United States, this is Mexico. You cross this line, you're different. That's all fucking bullshit. We're all human beings living on earth. Everyone should be allowed to live everywhere on earth. That is my view. No borders. If I want to move to fucking Uzbekistan, I should be able to go to Uzbekistan. As long as I'm being a nice person, following the rules, not hurting anyone. I think it's pretty simple. Don't steal. Don't hurt. It's the law of non-aggression, the principle of non-aggression, golden rule, whatever. Very simple. If people had good parents and taught them how to behave, we wouldn't need all these fucking laws and rules. You need the police to make sure that everyone's following being safe and whatever and not stealing each other's shit. But like, it should be a pretty fucking, in 2025, a pretty fucking universal human standard for how we treat one another across all borders. And the more we put borders up, the less that standard becomes universal and the more isolated and fragmented our moral standards become based on the arbitrary geographical or political jurisdiction within you live. You grow up under fucking Sharia law, you have a much different fucking principles than a bunch of people growing up in Zurich, Switzerland. It's ridiculous. Get rid of the fucking borders. But that's kind of a separate conversation. The reality is we live in this statist, political, divided, bordered, segmented society. It is what it is. Me as an American, I can't just go to Switzerland and start living in Switzerland and having kids and sending my kids to Switzerland. We have laws and immigration and visas and the part of the fucking election and the presidency and the Congress. It's all part of the same system that I think is fucking bullshit. However, if you're voting for a president and a Congress and you believe in the institutions of government, which like a lot of liberal people do, and the EPA and the Department of Education and the Department of like Health and Human Services and all this bureaucracy and the system, well, the system is based on laws and institution structure. So I find it difficult for liberals on one hand to say, we believe in all of these rules and regulations in the system of government, but then we also think it's fine for people to come into the country, completely disregard the system, and then not be held accountable for breaking the rules. It's like liberal people and people that, if you're participating in the system and voting and all this stuff, then you believe in the rules and the system and the bureaucracy. And part of the rules is that like you have to basically like ask for permission to come in. Just like you would, or I would, most Americans would if they wanted to go live in Australia. If we just like took a boat to Australia, snuck across on like some beach, started living there and working there, and having a family there, and then all of a sudden one day we get pulled over for speeding, and they're like, hey, you're an American, you don't have any papers here. I don't think any of us would be shocked when they send us back to America. It's horrible, dude. Once again, it's so fucked up that people are born in fucking Honduras and they have to stay in Honduras. They don't have the opportunity to come to America and make a better life or go to Switzerland. I think they should. 100% think I should. And the fact that we do actually live in the status system and my heart feels for them, I think even under the status system, they should be allowed to stay. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if they're here legally working at a fucking car wash. I don't give a fuck. However, but I also don't believe in the system at all. But I see the same people that are like believe in the system and voting and institutions and like congressional representatives and like listening to Dr. Fauci about wearing your mask and following the rules of the government and trusting the authority figures. But then when it comes to like illegal immigrants not following the rules, these same institutions, then it's like they turn the other way. But it's the rules, man. If we're playing by this rule game with borders and governments and elections and governmental departments and welfare and public school systems and public roads, you have to have rules and fairness. And it's the most surprising thing is when you talk to legal immigrants, people, and I know my last 3 serious relationships have all been with women who have come from different countries through the legal immigration process. And it is brutal. If you are doing everything by the book, it is expensive, it is infuriating, it is time consuming, it requires sacrifices in your work, it requires sacrifices in your personal life. The people that go through the immigration process legally in the United States do it to such hardship that to them it's incredibly frustrating that there's this massive group of other people that just walk across the border and have access to the same benefits that they do. I see it on both sides. My heart, everyone should live everywhere. My brain is like, well, fuck, I don't like the system as it is. I say get rid of government of all kinds. I say get rid of ICE, get rid of the borders, get rid of border control, get rid of the president, get rid of the Congress, get rid of the central bank, get rid of the Department of Education, get rid of the Department of Defense, get rid of, well, maybe not Department of Defense. National Guard. Keep the National Guard. Get rid of the Department of Defense because the Department of Defense is the Department of fucking offense. Keep the National Guard. Get rid of the Department of Housing. Get rid of the Department of Homeland Security. Get rid of the Department of Housing and Human Services. Get rid of all the fucking bullshit. Get rid of the National Institutes of Health. Fuck it all. If they're all bought and sold by corporations. And we don't need mommy and daddy telling what to do. We're individuals in 2025 with the fucking internet. Quit putting restrictions on us. Allow us to go wherever we want, learn whatever we want, smoke whatever we want, do whatever we want. Everyone knows how to be a good person. Leave us the fuck alone. That's how I feel. But most people don't feel that way. They vote for the guy in the blue shirt or the guy in the red shirt, but then when the guy in the red shirt, everything the guy in the red shirt says, if they vote for the guy in the blue shirt is bad. If they vote for the guy in the red shirt, everything the guy in the blue shirt says is bad. You're not thinking. You're not thinking. You can't believe in the Department of Education, the Department of National Institutes of Health, the EPA, the FDA, all that shit, but then not believe in the immigration system. It's like you have the system, you have to run the system efficiently. The system will run extremely inefficiently if the rules aren't being followed. The entire system is built around like legal immigration. It's fucked up. I believe all people should be allowed to go everywhere. But I find it weird that people adhere to institutions with one side of the mouth and speak against institutions on the other side of the mouth. Both left and right are just being told what to believe by the leaders on each side, and they're being pitted against each other to perpetuate the conflict because that perpetuates the elections, that perpetuates the system. Because it's always just like good and evil, right? And depending on which team you're on, red or blue, the other side is evil and your side is good, which is just like this like perfect business model for perpetuating the system. Because you're on team red, you need team red taking your income tax so they can defeat team blue. If you're on team blue, you trust team blue to take your money to steal your money via income tax so they can defeat team red. So they constantly need each other to like perpetuate the system. But it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Everyone's just the same. We would be fine without them. Anyway, my heart goes out to everyone. Families being torn apart, people losing their jobs. At the same time, though, it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't expect to go just sneak across into Canada and get free healthcare, send my kids to good Canadian schools, get a job, like a high-paying job in Canadian minimum wage. And then if I got pulled over, I would expect them to send me back to the United States because I understand the system in which I live, even though I disagree with the system. So it's fucked up, but at the same time, it's like it's understandable, I guess. It's a just like all these fucking things. It's complicated, just like abortion and gun rights, immigration. These are complicated issues. It's not just a very clear wrong and right. They're nuanced, complicated issues. And people like to just think I'm on team blue, team red is wrong. I'm on team red, team blue is wrong. When everything's purple, man, it's very complex issues that have pros and cons on each side. People need to develop personal, individual moral principles, simple moral principles about what they believe in personally as a human being, and then apply those very basic principles of morality, a very personal morality, to real life situations. It makes it much less complex. What are your personal values? Simple. I value like physical fitness, self-reliance, individualism, overcoming hardship, kindness, and then apply those things to the reality at hand, rather than just like a la carte picking positions for each political issue based on what team you're on. And me, personally, those personal values tell me that government should be as small as possible, as limited as possible. So something like borders is like the ultimate is like the greatest injustice that we encounter in the world, to me, honestly. So it's like on one hand, I support the functioning of institutions. So the enforcement of immigration laws, if laws exist, they should be enforced. But on the other hand, it's like I think most laws are bullshit and people should live wherever they want. So I don't know. I can see it on both sides. Personally, I believe everyone should live wherever they want and borders shouldn't exist and central banks shouldn't exist and all this fucking nonsense shouldn't exist. The government should go away. Anyway, that's what's going on in the world. Last week of June 2025. I will speak to you next weekend. We will be in July 2025. My last month in LA. A great time of change, July 2025. In July 2025, I'll spend my last month in LA. I'll travel to see my family in Maine, and then I'll travel to Portland to start a new life. So great summer of change and hope. Be kind, be happy. Don't be angry, dude. Take care of yourself. Stay in good shape. Be nice to your neighbors and your friends. Take care of your body. Meditate. Turn off the news, dude. Like, focus on what makes you happy and what you find meaningful. And like, if you're feeling like guilty that you're not informed or whatever, find something in your immediate vicinity, in your community, where someone you can help. Or if you know there's a major, before you do that, if you know there's a major shortcoming, something you've been ignoring in yourself, I need to lose weight. I need to smoke weed less. I need to drink less. I need to drink less caffeine. I need to go to bed earlier. Focus all of your energy instead on like the news and feeling like you're on the right team or learning about an issue. Focus on, invest that energy in yourself and like that area of improvement that you know you need to make. Or if you feel like you're good, you don't really need to make any areas of improvement right now. If you know there's someone in your community, in your immediate vicinity who you have contact with, personal contact with, a family member, a friend, a fucking homeless person on the side of the road, someone that you know could use some help them out or spend some time, or just do something nice for someone that you think deserves it. If there's someone in your community who you think is doing a good job being a human being, I don't know, do something nice for them. Invest that time and energy in that. I think we'd all be better off. Anyway, besos. I love you all. Peace.